Hey guys, so I have a body painting tutorial for you guys today. It is inspired by Glenn Arthur's painting in Dawn, and it just feels so good to body paint again. But this is just a super pretty painting, and yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is I am taking my NYX white pencil and I am just sketching out what I'm going to be painting. So I'm just looking at the painting. I printed out like a photo of it, and then I'm just sketching out all the components of the bird, the sun, the like cactus things, the eyes, all that stuff. And then we are going into my Maybelline Paradise paint palette, and I'm taking the yellow shade mixed with a little bit of white, and I am just starting to create an ombre. So I am keeping that towards like underneath the eyes, and then every time I put down that paint, I'm taking a little tiny beauty blender and I am just bopping it to get it to blend better. Once I place down that yellow, I am going in with the paint in lime, and I am just bringing that about like up to the eyebrow area, or just like a little bit above the eye. I'm also starting to fill in my arms a little bit. I'm just doing that like super haphazardly, just to get that color filled in. After that, we're going in with light green, and I am taking that like above the eyebrows. I'm just trying to I'm trying to like mimic the gradient that he has, and it's just slowly like fading into darker colors. By the way guys, everything I use will be listed down below if you guys are curious. But once I get that green down, I'm taking teal and I am putting that like all like pretty far up, like into my shoulder area. Okay, then we're taking some blue paint and I am bringing that all the way up to my neck. The outcome looks pretty patchy, but I'm going to be doing like a lot of layering with other products to get it to the consistency that I want. So the first thing I'm taking is the NYX SFX cream paints, and I'm taking like yellow, putting that in the yellow area. I'm just like tapping my beauty blender into it and then tapping it in the areas, blue in the blue area, tapping that on, and just making it so that this like color is more like thick and opaque looking. Then I'm going in with the eyeshadow, and I'm taking like this NYX primal color in yellow, and I'm putting that in the yellow area, and then pretty much doing the same thing with each area. I'm going in with like the colored eyeshadow that matches with it, and I am putting that down in that area. In the green area, I'm going in to my Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, and I'm taking Gloom, and I'm just really layering that up. And then in like the teal area, I'm taking, what is it? Doom. Yeah, Gloom and Doom. And I'm putting that in the teal area, and just putting shitloads of eyeshadow on. For that blue, I'm going into my Urban Decay Electric palette, and I'm taking Chaos, and I'm just layering it up. Then we're going into my Ultimate Brights palette from NYX, and I am taking that like darker yellow, and I'm really starting to kind of carve out the eyes and just add some shading. I'm really starting to kind of like carve out the wrinkles of those eyes with Gloom from the Pastel Goth palette, and then I'm taking Skull and I'm adding in some highlights to like all the places that it would like kind of bulge. Then I'm going back into Gloom and I'm adding a little bit more shadow to the lids. After that, I take Dagger and I'm adding a little bit more like definition to those eyes. And then we're gonna take Noir from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I am starting to outline the eyes. By the way guys, I'm doing this all this like line work with shadow with like a flat, tiny detail brush, kind of like a concealer brush it looks like, but that just makes it so that I get like really nice fine lines. And then I'm taking more white paint from Maybelline and I'm filling in the white part of the eye. Then I'm taking some light blue paint and I'm filling in the iris. To shade the white part of the eye, I'm taking the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty palette, I'm taking Noir, and I'm just putting that kind of all around the white of the eye. And then I'm going into the Sephora Watercolors palette, I'm taking that dark blue shade, and I'm putting that like around the iris to add a little bit more depth. This is Tawny from Jordana, it's a lip liner, and I'm creating the, what's it called? The waterline, and I'm just drawing that on the bottom part of my eyeball. I wanted the waterline to look a little bit wet, a little bit shiny, so I took this like shiny pink liner from NYX. It's their NYX Lip of the Day, and I put that on top of Tawny. Then I took some white paint, and I put that like on where the white of the eye is, and also in the iris, just to start creating some highlights. This is a Kat Von D tattoo liner, and I'm starting to really like give that eye definition, and I drew like a line on the top lid, and yeah, and then also on the bottom lid. And then I'm taking some black shadow. This is Noir from ABH, and I'm starting to kind of really shade in and define the iris and the top lid. Blue Milk from Lime Crime. So I love like creating little highlights with this, but I'm just putting that like around the iris, kind of almost outlining it, but like broken up outlining it. For definition on the top lid, I'm taking the NYX, what is this, Lip of the Day in Enchanted. Then I'm taking the NYX Vivid Bright in Vivid Escape, and I'm putting that on top of Enchanted to create a little bit of a highlight. This is the Absolute New York liquid liner in Mint, and I'm just tapping that in certain areas on the top lid to create some highlights. Then I'm going back into the Vivid Brights palette, and I'm taking that dark yellow and just defining the bottom like crease of the eye a little bit more. Now for the pupil. So I sketched out the pupil with the Kat Von D tattoo liner, and then I went back in with black paint and filled it in, and then I did the lashes with tattoo liner. So I'm just flicking little like curved lines out from the top and the bottom of the eye, and I'm not going crazy with it, but I'm mainly keeping it on like the outer portions of the eye. But they're flicking like towards the direction that it's going in, so like the outer eye flicks out and then the inner eye flicks in. So this is one of my favorite parts of painting eyes, but it's the highlights. So I'm taking some white paint and I'm just tapping some highlights, and like they're like going towards the inner part of the eye. And then I'm taking the NYX white liquid liner and I'm putting some highlights in the eye and also on like the bottom lid and stuff. Now for eyebrows, because my eyeballs need some eyebrows. This is Dagger from the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, but I just filled in the eyebrows with that, and then I'm going back in with the tattoo liner, and I'm really starting to like define the tail and also do flicks in the inner part of the brows. My girl got some beautiful arched eyebrows, so that's what we're making. I wanted that tail to be a little bit darker, so I took some black paint and I filled in the tail, and now we're gonna start coloring in other stuff other than eyeballs. So this is the Maybelline palette that I was using, and I'm taking some yellow paint and I'm starting to color in the sun. So like I've been doing when I put paint down, I'm taking my yellow shadow and I'm taking Star from the Pastel Goth palette, and I'm putting that down on the sun just to set everything and make it a little bit more blendable. And then I'm going to take me some, what am I taking? Oh, I'm taking some gray paint and I'm painting my bird. So I'm painting like the, you know, beak and like the body, but I'm keeping that like middle heart thing and the wings white. Now to set that gray, I'm taking a gray shadow from my Sephora watercolor palette. I'm just patting it on top of the gray paint. Then I'm going back in with Skull, and I'm patting that on top of the white paint. Oh hey Noir, so this is Noir from It Cosmetics. I'm taking this and I'm just starting to shade in my bird a little bit so he doesn't look like just a block color. But I'm doing that like where he connects to the cactus, also around his little white belly, towards his face. I'm also taking a little bit of Skull and I'm adding a little bit of highlight with that white, like where, I don't know, like where the sun would hit him, so like on his face, on his beak. And then I'm taking the tattoo liner and I'm giving him a little eyeball, 'cause he's cute. To give those white wings a little bit more of a highlight, I took my Clown White from Mayron. I'm just tapping that on with my finger on like the belly and the wings. It also gives it sort of like a fluffy appearance. And then I'm taking some of the black paint from Mayron, and I'm just very like delicately lining the bird and just pretty much everything else also in the painting, but that's for a little bit later. For now, I'm just outlining my bird. Y'all know I like that NYX white liquid liner for highlights, so I'm just taking some of that and I'm just adding a little white line on some areas of the bird to make it pop with a highlight. After that, I'm taking Vivid Halo from NYX. It's one of their Vivid Brights, and I'm outlining the sun. I just wanted to have like a little bit more something to it and not just be like just a circle in the background. So for all of like the cactus petals in this painting, I'm just gonna explain the combination of colors that I use. So for like the blue ones, I use a combination of the teal paint, white paint, and gray paint, and each petal I colored in with like a different combination of those colors. So I'll use like more gray, more teal for one petal, more white for another petal, and I do the same exact thing for the pink section. So I'll use the pink, lavender, and white paint, and I'll use a little bit more white for one petal, a little bit more purple for the other petal. I also mixed in a little bit of gray tones too, just to get like, I guess, more of like a gray quality to the petals. I don't know, I was just trying to replicate what I was seeing. And then I am taking the lime paint and the yellow paint, and I'm doing the same thing I did with all the other petals. And also white for that section too. I mixed in a little bit more white for one petal, a little bit more lime, a little bit more yellow. I think you guys get what I'm saying. Once I get that done, I am taking blue milk again, and I am creating some more highlights with it. So for these highlights, I'm basically just outlining one section of the cactuses. I also gave my bird a little blue eye, and then I took Mint from Absolute New York, the eyeliner, and I just tapped in a little bit of like texture. Because I like texture, you guys, and I like shading and highlights and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. For another layer of like highlights, I took the white paint, and I'm just kind of doing some little like squiggles on the cactuses on each petal. And then I wanted to have some more of like a, you know, like furry or like, I don't know, like feathery quality to the bird. So I just added some little flicks or hair looking things to his wings. For the yellow or green petals, I did some tappy texture with the Mint Absolute New York liner, and then I took Halo and I did that like same little highlight thing that I did with blue milk on the blue ones, and I just like lined one section. After that, I took Noir from the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty palette, and I started to shade in like all of the like blue cactuses, like where all the petals meet and stuff. I'm just taking some of that gray and I'm just shading it. And then I took some more of Noir and I shaded my bird a little bit more. I want it to look a little bit more intense, you know. This is Gloom from the Pastel Goth palette, but I'm just taking this and doing the same exact thing that I did with the gray for the blue petals. I'm just shading in the yellow and green petals with some green. Now to delicately line everything. So I'm taking some black paint and a very teeny tiny brush, and I'm just outlining each section of the petals, just really defining them. I'm doing that to each section of the flowers, so the pink, the green, and the blue. And the last thing I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of definition to the eyes. So I took Noir and a little tiny brush, and I just started to outline, not really outline, but shade in like where those eye folds are. Finally moving on to the face, yay! So I'm trying to mimic, sort of mimic the gradient that's happening on my chest. So the first color I'm taking is the NYX HD concealer in yellow, and I'm tapping that all around my eyes. This is the L'Oreal True Match in W1. I'm putting that all over my face, just because I wanted to have like that coverage. I'm gonna go back in with like colors, but I wanted to have like some sort of coverage because my ass is breaking out lately, okay? So I tapped that out with my beauty blender. I'm taking some green paint and I'm just tapping that like around my eyeballs. I just hello Shrek, how are you doing? I just was really giving myself some like Shrek vibes while doing this, but this is teal paint. I'm going around the green. I just wanted like a light wash of color, nothing like crazy. I didn't want to layer it up too much because I thought it would probably look pretty cakey pretty fast. But once I get done that, like tapping that all in, I'm taking this Physicians Formula translucent powder and I am setting everything. Then I am taking Gloom from my Pastel Goth palette and I'm just starting to contour everything and add like a little bit more definition and color to my face. Oh, also your girl's nose contouring. So I'm taking a fluffy brush and I'm just running that like down the sides of my nose, on the bridge and stuff, and I'm flicking it into my eyeball, like or my lid. So I wasn't thinking, I also have like a bright thing of like circle of yellow on my cheeks for like the look that I designed. So I just took a makeup wipe and I did a little circle, like I took a little circle of makeup off, and then I took some yellow paint and I started to fill in those little circles. I wanted to get like that yellow diffused out and not just like be like a circle. So I took some of the yellow primal colors from NYX and I just tapped that, like a ton of it on top of my cheeks. And then I took a little bit of like this orange and tapped it on top to further blend it out. And this is the NYX yellow cream paint, and I just tapped that like on the middle of the circle and then on my nose, and also on wait, did I put, no, I put yellow eyeshadow on the bridge, and then I put that yellow eyeshadow like all around my eyes because again, I'm trying to like sort of mimic what's going on my chest, like where it's yellow and then green, and you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. To define that like lid space, I'm taking Gloom again from Pastel Goth, and I'm just going back and forth and really like defining that crease and blending it. And then I'm taking some more yellow shadow, putting that on my brow bone. And then we're gonna take Fringe from the Urban Decay Electric palette, and I am just starting to like really define like around my face, like the parameters, and then I'm taking some more yellow, putting that on my upper lip and just around my lips in general. This is again, what is this? Oh, this is the yellow one from the Absolute New York liners. I think it's Lemon Drop, but I wanted to like do like that little tappy texture on my face too, so I put it in all the areas that I put the yellow eyeshadow. Pastel Goth palette again, so I took Dagger and I just kind of like lined like the outside of my eye and underneath, and then I wanted to do like a sort of cut crease, or no, this is definitely a cut crease, so I just wanted to define that little bit more, and I'm doing that with Dagger. I want to just sort of mimic like the Cactus a little bit, so I'm taking the Vivid Bright and Vivid Envy from NYX, and I'm sort of just doing like a little squiggly sort of like design on the eyeballs with that green liner. And then I'm taking that Lemon Drop Absolute New York liner and just doing some more like little tappies on there. This is Vivid, what is this? It's Vivid Escape. So I'm just taking that and I'm drawing like a line on top of the cut crease and then putting some little dots in there to sort of mimic what's going on throughout the whole body paint. And then I'm taking some black liner and I'm creating a cat eye because I always wear cat eyes because I need them. I just love them so much, okay? I wanted some fierce ass eyebrows like the lady on my chest, so I took Noir from Anastasia Beverly Hills and I started to fill in my eyebrows with that black shadow, and yeah, I'm just filling it in kind of like how I normally do, but like way darker. Now for that forehead eyeball, I'm taking my Noir shadow from ABH again, and I'm just lining the eye, and then I'm taking Gloom and I'm just getting that like definition for the lid and the like inner corner and stuff. And then I took a yellow shadow, put that like in the middle for a highlight. This is Vivid Escape, and I'm just lining some little highlights, just getting some like more intense highlights on there. And I'm gonna do this kind of like sped up a little bit, you guys, because you just saw me paint two eyeballs. But this is Lemon Drop from Absolute New York, the liners that I've been using throughout this whole tutorial. I just did some tappy texture, and then I used my Chaos Makeup Artist highlighter in Mary Jane, did my highlight, put it like in my inner corner, cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow, all that stuff. And I lined my waterline with a yellow liner from Revlon. I filled in the white of the eye with some paint, and then I'm setting it with my white shadow from Pastel Goth palette, and then I'm going in with Noir again and doing some more of those like, you know, like white area shadows, and then I took some blue paint, filled in the eye, and then I'm starting to shade around the iris with some blue eyeshadow. And this is going back to Noir. I'm starting to line my waterline, and I did like the middle part of the black of the eye, and then I'm going back into Blue Milk and I'm doing some highlights again, doing some tappy texture with that mint eyeliner from Absolute New York, and then we're going to do the highlights with my white liquid liner from NYX. And yeah, that's my forehead eyeball. You guys may have noticed I threw on a pair of lashes. These are the House of Lashes Starlit lashes, and they're so pretty. Look at those things. Oh my god. Last but not least, I took Wet n Wild Siren's Jewel and I put that on my lips. I also put a little bit of Mary Jane from Chaos Makeup Artist on the middle of my lips, and that is my finished makeup tutorial, you guys. I hope you guys liked it. Like this video if you like this video, subscribe, it makes me happy. Check out Glenn Arthur's art, and I hope you guys are having a beautiful day. Bye!